Okay, today I got the little TD8 in the barn. I'm gonna do some work on it. I found a crack in this side was cracked. I've noticed when I bought it, but I got to looking underneath and there's a crack on the other side that's probably worse. Problem with it is you can't get to it under the tractor, so I'm gonna need to pull this blade frame off, which it goes from this front pivot, or this front hard, it's not really a pivot bar, it's a hard bar, whatever. There's a pin goes through there, it's clamped onto this round bar in the back, and then it has the through bolt back through the transmission or the steering box, and this comes off. I believe I'll have to unpin the cylinder and then I should be able to lift that out, but the problem is I gotta get these off. I just fought with that one for about an hour and a half getting it off. What the problem is, these bushings are pretty much stuck to the bolt, and I've tried pushing with a hydraulic jack, it wouldn't knock it loose. I was starting to bend this plate back here when I tried that, so what I ended up doing on that side is I cut the head of the bolt off, I set up my hydraulic press and just pushed it out, and that's what I'm gonna have to do here too. Same thing pretty much. Anyway, more fun with the dozer. I've been using it quite a bit. It's been doing a pretty good job for me. I can't complain a lot about it. It needs a lot of work done on it. I bought new pins and bushings for the main blade frame. There's two pins in the underneath the machine where it pivots up and down. I want to replace those first, and then at some point I'm going to get back to, I need to replace the seal in my angle cylinder, or my tilt cylinder. I've replaced the seals in my angle cylinders, but they've got scratches in the chrome, so they don't last long when they're scratched up. So we really need to find at some point, either get some new rods made or find some replacement cylinders for it. But it is windy outside today. But I'll say this, it's nice and warm for November, t-shirt weather. Anyway, I'm gonna get set up here, cut this off, and I'll kind of try to show you what happens whenever that happens. And we'll press this out, and then maybe at some point we'll get this thing off the dozer. Heating a rubber bushing, it's not a good thing. Turns out to be a mess. Whoops. Dadgummit, come on. There. Basically, I'll use that to hold this in place at the height I need it. Put some nuts on the top up here. Got it just a bit too high. And I don't know why this jack does actually jack in this position with the handle on the top, but like I say, it'd be handier to have a quarter power set up on this. So here we go. We're just gonna, it's got to compress through this rubber before it gets to something hard. We're not, probably low on oil now. But anyway, I'll show you the setup here. Just got a hollow part here we can press through, but we're having to compress this rubber bushing, and the bolt goes through two steel bushings inside these rubber bushings, and these rubber bushings are made to where they flare out on the inside of this tube, and it gives it isolation to keep the noise down. So that's the that's the way that works. This one might come out a lot easier than the other one. The other one did not come out easy at all. This one's just pushing right through easy. A lot easier than the other side. How about that? Well, I guess that worked out better than I thought it would. I'll probably have the bushing stuck inside the. Yeah, that'll come off. Yeah, that's the problem, I think. That steel bushing part is still stuck on the bolt, and I don't think it'll come through there. So what I may end up needing to do it might come out, but I think I might cut this bolt off and push it back through the other way. Set her on fire. Now, if we get lucky, just push that back out. There we go, we got her out there. How about that? Okay, well that one went a lot easier than I thought, but there's another use for that handy dandy press I built. Like I say, I want to build that to where I can put a hydraulic porta-power. This is a 20-ton, but I could put it, if I could put my 10-ton ram in there. It's just a little longer, so I'm going to have to come up with a way to I'm either going to have to get some longer thread or come up with a different design on how it connects up. Either way, it'd be pretty nice to have set up. So, all right, now to get them big bolts out of the back, that's probably going to be fun too. Well, a little dozer looks kind of cool without a top on it, I think. I wouldn't want to run it in a tree or do any work in trees without a top, but anyway, we're going to see what we can figure out here. But you can see they've had some problems with this mount being out of line. It was wearing against this, so before I put that top back on, I may try to do some more straightening on it. I don't know. Might be easier to bend those uprights with it off the machine. But anyway, rubber pad, these rubber bushings, I'm gonna have to get some new ones. I'm sure they've got them at Komatsu. But I've got to pull, like I say, this cylinder loose. All these hoses that come up through this blade frame have to come off. But my biggest worry is pulling the pin out of the main frame down there, and I hope I don't have to pull this whole side of the machine off. I may have to pull this whole track frame off to get to it, I don't know. Anyway, I'm hoping that's not the case, but I gotta get under there and figure out what I gotta do next. So what I'm doing now, I've got a piece of, I'm not sure if it's, I think it's just cold rolled, but it's like 3/4 inch thick. And I'm having trouble getting that pin pushed out, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use some of my coil thread rod, and I'm gonna cut this out and put a couple nuts, one on each end of it, and then I'll be able to use these threaded rods to push. I won't have a lot of room to, I wish I could put a longer bolt in there, but by recessing these nuts down in, you know, down inside here, I'll have a little bit more ability to push. And what I can do is I can push, and then I can put a plate behind it and then actually lengthen, but I don't have room to put a longer bolt. I guess I probably could on that one side, but on the back side I can't. So, but I'm gonna make this is something that might turn out, might be handy for this kind of stuff, I don't know. But hopefully I can torch that out fairly close, and we'll weld it together. Okay, so I want to show you what we got here. I got my new tool in place, and I kind of had to pry this over a little bit to get it in there, but now I've got these tightened up. You can see it pushed this over against, there was a gap in there earlier, but it did move it over. So it's got this torqued over a little bit. It's got some pressure on that pin. So now what I need to do is get my rosebud on my torch and warm these up again. And I did that yesterday. I warmed those up, heated on them, beat on it. I got it to move about, I don't know, 1/16 of an inch. Moved a little bit, but I need to put some more heat on these. I've got to get this one out. At this point, I'd like to get them both out. I'd like to get this fixed. I've got to fix this crack. I don't know if you can see the crack here, but it got bigger since I pushed that over. And there's a crack in this side. This side has been welded from the outside, but the crack here goes up beyond. It's up between the frame rail and the blade frame. And if I can get that off of there, I can get a good repair on it from the back side. I can't reach up in here and get a good weld in it. I don't even want to try it. I don't think that's worth the effort. So that was my whole deal, is I got to get this blade frame out. So I got to get that pin out. Need to heat these up. We'll give that a try, see what happens. But now that I've actually got something that I can put some good pressure on it, I can tighten these with a wrench on one on each side. That'll move us over a little bit. Well, it didn't move much, if any. That's going to be a problem. What I might end up having to do is cut that pin off. I was sure hoping I didn't have to do that. Things is hot. Yeah, I can't see the wrench there. Ah, come on. I should have enough heat on there to get that out, I think. Well, I think it did move about a 1/16. Good grief. That's not good. I guess the good thing is it is coming out, or it is moving, but it's gonna be awfully hard to get that dude that far out. I mean, the good news is I do have a new pin, new bushing, so if I had to cut that off, if I have to cut that pin, if I take this out, it'll move back over and I can push this over a little bit and get some clearance. May just have to cut both sides of it off. I may heat on it one more time. Jeez, that's what I was afraid of. She's not moving. I'm probably bending that plate now. It's probably hot enough to bend. Dang it. It has moved. Every time I heat it, it moves about a 1/16 or a 32nd. So it's moving. Our pusher tool's putting pressure on it, but it's just not enough. I kept hearing things popping over here a while ago, and I thought, well, man, maybe something's moving. But as you can tell, nothing's moved much. I mean, I've got maybe a total of a 3/32 gap. That's not very much, considering we've got about 6 inches to go. It was hard to get. It was hard to get 3/32. It's going to be even harder to get the rest of it, I think. Maybe once it gets to moving, it'll come on out. I don't know. Who knows? I've seen stuff like this work, and then I've seen times and you just wasting time. Probably what I ought to do is just torch the pin off. Well, okay, here goes side one. While I got it pushed over, I'm gonna cut it. A little grease fire going there. A little oil. Okay, so one side cut off. Pretty much committed to it now, I guess, huh? Okay. All I can say is I'm thankful there was enough space in there to cut both sides of that, because otherwise, I don't know what you'd do.
Treat me like you do. It's a deal breaker, baby, when you treat me like you do. Seems all you do these days is make me down and blue.
was exciting, to say the least. That was stupid was what that was. I thought I had it hooked in good. Chain hook slipped loose. I should have had it cleviced. There's no excuse for what I just did. That's the kind of stuff that gets a person hurt pretty bad, and I got pretty lucky. So I'm thankful I didn't get hurt worse. So, but anyway, we got it apart. We got a, this shows the crack. It kind of like the crack ended here, but I really think this needs to be fixed. I don't think this is something that needs to be left alone. I think it was probably worth it to pull this apart, although it wouldn't have been if it had killed me, but I got lucky this time, I guess. Anyway, I'm gonna try to clean this up and get it welded together. This is kind of what she looks like without the blade frame. A lot of space in there. These inside mounted blades are pretty tough to work on. I've worked on some cases that had blade frame issues up in the front, and there's just not an easy way to get to the stuff to work on it. The bigger dozers with the outside mounted frames, there's a lot more room to work, a lot easier. But this is what we got to work with. This is what we're working on, so. What a mess, what a mess. Anyway, need to clean that up and get it welded.